Winning.
Pick.
Weekly.
Smith for the win.
Raisi K.
Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to College Football Week 8 on Winning Picks Weekly. As always, John Meleka, joined by Greg Albert and Chip Murphy at Chip Murphy7 on Twitter. What's good, guys? We are still in the thick of things, college football or an NFL football game on every single day. We have NBA preseason going on right now and some college football. I don't know if you guys want to start right there. I don't know if you guys have anything riding right now. I personally have Liberty minus 7.5 on DraftKings first half, and Western Kentucky minus 3.5 first half. Chip, I already know you're against me there. We talked a little about it off air. What do you guys got going?
Yeah, I have Jacksonville State against Western Kentucky, and I have Liberty, but the full game, Liberty minus 14.5. I've been on Liberty this whole year pretty much. I love Jamie Chadwell. So I've been on them all year, sticking with them. And Jacksonville State, I had them once and they won, and then I went against them and they lost. And I don't know, man. I've watched a couple of their games now, and they look fantastic, dude. I love Western Kentucky, but I'm not bet. I want to bet this game because I want to watch this game, and I don't want to bet against Jacksonville State again because they look really good, and their quarterback's playing. I don't know. I like them.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean they're 4-2-1 against the spread.
Yeah.
This is a big game for Conference USA. Liberty is ahead, undefeated, but right behind them is Jacksonville and Western Kentucky. So it's big. It's a big game for the conference. We'll see what happens there. I'm going with the favorites. Greg, are you taking anything early in the week?
Yeah, I'm with you on the favorites too, which scares me a little bit. Though it seems like we're both locked in on these favorites early week. I like Liberty minus 14.5 today. New Mexico State, I believe, is tomorrow.
That's UTEP. That's UTEP, right?
Yep. I just don't like UTEP. And then James Madison, minus 3.5 against Marshall. I don't know what you guys think about that line. Just seems low. It seems low to me. I think JMU is definitely, like we talked about, I think before we hopped on here, the best team in the conference, and Marshall's good and all, but 3.5 just doesn't seem like a lot. I get that they're on the road, so that's a little scary.
Yeah. Marshall's look pretty good.
Yeah. That's true.
It's also scary that it hasn't moved despite all the money and all the bets being on JMU. It's a bit concerning.
I figure everyone's going to be on JMU because they've looked awesome this year. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, a team that hasn't looked very awesome, but this is their first game that they're going to be favored this year, so I have to take them just by principle. That's tomorrow. Sam Houston minus 5.5. I have to take it. It's the first game that they're favored, and they're catching almost a touchdown. I have to take them. So that's just a
Who do they
quote
play?
unquote system bet.
Who do they play?
They are home versus Florida International.
Oh my God.
Florida International's 3-4. So we'll see what happens. Sam Houston's 0-6. So like there's not it's a weird line technically.
True.
All right. Anything else before we jump right into Saturday? All right.
Nope.
Chip, why don't you start us off with noon on Saturday, man?
Are we going to start off with Penn State, Ohio State, or do we want to save that?
I would love to.
Go ahead. We got the Nittany Lions in Greg's background.
Hell yeah.
We know where he's going. We got our producer Raisi, who's from Ohio State. We have CJ Stroud, the best quarterback ever from Ohio State, and I actually called it, so you can't call me an Ohio State hater. What's up, Chip? What do you got? Penn State versus Ohio State?
Well, I'm not taking Ohio State. I'm on Penn State plus 4.5. It scares me that so many people now are on Penn State, and I know Ohio State hasn't looked good though. They just were waiting for Ohio State to kick things into gear, I feel like, and the quarterback isn't it. He's not the guy. And Look, if there was ever an opportunity for Penn State to do this, it's now. Yeah, this
Yep.
is the year. I know it's at Ohio State, but I feel like if it was at Penn State may even be favored, there's an opportunity for that. And this is the time. If Penn State's not going to do it this year, I don't know if they can do it. So, and before they got all the other teams coming into the Big Ten, and it's going to be even harder. And 4.5, I like Penn State. Probably going to sprinkle some on the money line too, because I don't know. I think it's a very winnable game for them. I know they have history going against them. James Franklin has never beaten Michigan, as far as I know. I think he's only beat Ohio State one time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. This is, like I said, this is the year. He's got to do it this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm trying my best to like pull myself back. I mean, team total is 20.5. I love the over in that. Alternate line minus 2.5 is plus 175. Like money line's plus 150. So if you think it's gonna be a field goal game, you think they're gonna win by 3, I would take the minus 2.5. John, I know you're a first half better. So I was looking at that first half spread. It's plus 2.5. I would just take the first half money line, if you can. And yeah, I mean, dude, this is the biggest game of the season. I said I'm trying to stay calm. I think the Ohio State quarterback. I'm just trying to look up his name now because I'm blanking on it. McCord is pretty good. I'm not. I'm a little worried about the offense. I just think that Penn State's defense is the real deal, and they have an amazing opportunity to show it this Saturday at noon. I'm ready to go. I'm just trying to stay calm. I know I'm trying to act cool, but this is it. Because if this happens, like you said, Chip, if there was a time to do it, it feels like this season. We get this win, then the whole season's in front of us. The plus 1,000 undefeated is in front of us. Everything's in front of us. I think Drew Aller's been phenomenal all year.
You think there's a chance that Penn State's going to beat Ohio State and Michigan?
I think there's a shot.
Okay.
That's pretty much what the bet is. The bet's plus 1,000 to beat is like a 2-game parlay against Ohio State and Michigan. I know I'm saying that I'm probably gonna jinx myself if they're gonna lose a random game to Michigan State at some point or Indiana they have coming up. But it's really based on their schedule. It was really Iowa, I guess maybe you could have said was scary, but they beat them 31-0. So it's really a plus 1,000 bet to beat Ohio State and Michigan. And you're at Ohio State, you're home against Michigan. This is the game. This is it. We got to get up for it. Last week was easy. UMass 63-0. I bet the under 54, they put up 63 by themselves. So, like I said, the offense is cooking. The offense is ready to go. I like the over 20.5 team total. I like the money line. I like the alternate minus 2.5. Let's get it rocking. Let's get it rolling.
All right. I'm gonna go with. I mean, I like Penn State. But another game I'm going with here is I'm going with the Scarlet Knights, man, of Rutgers with the comeback of the century last week. I was so mad at them for about 3 3/5. I don't even know how much of that fourth quarter. How long did the comeback start? 2 minutes left.
I didn't watch it.
Oh no, I think it was quicker than that.
You didn't.
I think it was like a couple minutes into the fourth quarter they started scoring.
Dude, it was really bad up until the end of that. Up until the end of that fourth quarter.
Yeah, they scored the 13-minute mark in the fourth quarter, and they scored the 8-minute mark, and they scored again at the 8-minute mark. That was the craziest part. Is I turned off I switched the channel when it was 21-24, and I was like, okay, like these guys are rolling. These guys are back 2 touchdowns in a row. Let's see what we can do here. And then I changed back to the game, and it was all of a sudden they were up 27-24. I was like, what? Like, did I miss something? Like, what happened? And I did miss something.
Rutgers was amazing. I'm taking them again. I hate Indiana. This is easy minus 4.5. This might be one of the best bets. I don't care that it's the Scarlet Knights. I don't care. I don't care that they're from Piscataway. They're rolling right now. I'm
with you. I'm taking Rutgers too. I don't know if I mentioned it, but obviously Penn State plus 4.5 is my first best bet of the day for sure.
Okay. Chip, are you taking Rutgers?
On Rutgers. I'm taking Rutgers, yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. I think we're all in accordance with Rutgers. I think we're gonna all be in accordance here with Air Force. Air Force minus 10.5. They're at Navy, which will be a fun game. First half on FanDuel's minus 5.5. Not bad. Any other thoughts there?
No, I like that too. Usually when the two academies play, you bet the under. I think Air Force is good enough to scare me away from that. Just take the lay the points here, minus 10.5, minus 11.
Yeah. All right, what else you guys got for noon?
I like
Anything
Oklahoma.
else?
I like Oklahoma. I like the over 64.5. I think they had a big win, obviously. So they have a letdown spot possibly here. Against UCF, so I'm staying away from the 20-point spread.
Yeah, minus 18.5.
Yeah, I think that's just like a crazy number that they're getting just because they beat Texas. So I'm staying away from that. I'm going with the over. I think they can score. I think UCF, I was going to say I think they can score 2, but 22 points against Kansas. They had the worst first half ever as a program. Other than that, they've been able to score the rest of the season. So maybe it was just a fluky thing going to Kansas. It was a little look ahead game for this week against Oklahoma. So yeah, over 64.5. I think Oklahoma can do it by themselves. And then hopefully UCF kicks in touchdown or 2 here and there.
All right. I got no thoughts there, Chip.
They don't look great. Yeah, UCF. Mississippi State plus 6.5 on the road against Arkansas. I think Arkansas played the game of their lives last week and lost. I think they're gonna have a tough one at home. Mississippi State isn't great, but Arkansas, look, they're not good, and they got lucky to be that close against like we said last week, a lackluster Alabama offense that should not have been favored by that much. And they're going to come home, and I think they're going to lay an egg against Mississippi State.
That was a terrible pick last week.
Yeah.
The Arkansas pick until right at the end of the third quarter. Like, I was ready, Chip. I was ready to send a text like, dude, why are you betting against Alabama? You know not to do it. It was 24-6. And then all of a sudden they routed off 2 kind of meaningless touchdowns to cut it close. So you ended up covering, ended up being like a pretty good bet because it was a 3-point game by the end of it.
Thank you, Jalen Milroe.
That looked a little scary. That looked a little scary for a little bit.
Glad he's not that good.
Yeah.
I said, Alabama should not be favored by 3 touchdowns against anybody. They just shouldn't, even if it's a team as bad as Arkansas.
I'm with you. My last pick, John, for the noon game. Team you guys are both on last week. I stayed away. Or no, I jumped on the bandwagon. They let me down. I'm not sure how I feel about it. But the Ohio Bobcats, I mean, Chip's talking about them a lot. Talking them up in the MAC. They're 5-2 after a weird loss to Northern Illinois. Didn't watch any of the game. Just kind of
Bosco ruined it. He made it his lock and ruined it.
Absolutely mushed it. Western Michigan's not very good. So Ohio, I think, in a big time bounce back spot at home, minus 16, 16.5, 17, whatever it's going to end up being. I'm okay with that number there with Ohio. I think they bounce back and get rolling here in the MAC.
Yeah, they're minus 7.5 first half on FanDuel, which I really like.
Yeah, Western Michigan's terrible. I think I'm with you on Ohio. I think Ohio bounces back strong.
Yeah, I like Ohio too.
Mm-hmm. I like
that. Lot, bro.
That was
a tough loss. That was a tough loss.
Yeah, what happened? They just didn't get up for it.
I guess. It's not like you can say look ahead game either. They're playing Western Michigan. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
All right, in that same accord, Georgia Southern didn't look too good last week. At 2:00 today, 2:00 on Saturday, they're minus 16.5 versus Monroe, just Louisiana Monroe.
Yes.
Yeah, this is gonna be a massacre. I'm taking the 16.5 here for Georgia Southern.
It's interesting. 90% of the bets on Louisiana Monroe, 68% of the money on Louisiana Monroe. So I like that you're fading the public here. I was just surprised to see it that far out of whack for Louisiana Monroe. I think that's more speaking to the number than the actual program at Louisiana Monroe. So
could we talk about another line that doesn't make any sense here? And if you guys have a thought on it, that would be fantastic. The only thing here is this team is 1-4-1 against the spread. All right, that's the only thing that kind of makes sense as why I shouldn't bet it. Or otherwise, Memphis is minus 5.5 at UAB. Could someone explain this to me? It should be minus 15.5.
I think UAB is better than what people think.
Have you watched UAB? Oh my god, I bet on them so many times. They suck. They suck, Greg.
Have you bet on UAB more than once?
Yes, because the stupid
I feel like I
Dilfer.
bet on Memphis. Oh yeah,
I
they
don't
have
know, maybe I'm
Dilfer.
wrong.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
UAB
dude.
against the spread?
They're positive though, 4-3. Because listen, I took Tulane and they covered against Tulane, pissed me off. I took Georgia, they covered versus Georgia, pissed me off. Like they're so annoying. I hate UAB.
They definitely covered right against those Northern Texas or South Florida. They won outright.
I won outright. They were +3. they won by like triple digit 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, 4-3. I
Who did
mean,
Memphis play last week? They
It
played
was a
during
close
the
game.
week last
Tulane.
week.
Tulane.
yeah, that was a game where we were butting heads because you were going against our boys over in the Green Wave.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
took Memphis last week, so I'm not taking them again.
Yeah, I think I'm ready. I'm ready to zag. Give me Memphis. Maybe they'll cover their second spread of the year.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. That's a game I want no part of.
I know, me neither, but I'm taking it.
I'm
Minus
done with
5.5, baby.
I'm done
Let's
with
go.
Memphis. I'm done with Memphis. You can have Memphis.
That's the exact right time to take them.
Yeah. A team that I'm not done with, and a team, if we can move to the 3:30 area,
Mhm.
that I am repenting to, and I am so sorry for. I can't believe I ever went against Mike Gundy in Oak State. I don't know what I was thinking. I was out of my mind. I was hopped up on Texas horns down and Penn State football, and I lost my mind. Give me Oklahoma State +3.5 against West Virginia. All the money's on West Virginia. I said last week I think West Virginia is better than what I gave them credit for. And then they went out and just lost to Houston, which I get.
What a
maybe
terrible loss.
Yeah, maybe they're kind of close programs, maybe this, maybe that, but it was just so bad that I feel like it's kind of a spite pick, kind of a repentance pick to Mike Gundy in the Oklahoma State Cowboys program. They went out and absolutely kicked the shit out of Kansas 39-32. When I thought they were a dead program, 2 weeks in a row, they've beaten my teams, K-State and Kansas, 2 teams I've been riding all season. So I'm back. Go Cowboys +3.5. Give me Oak State.
I'll ride that with you.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Mike Gundy.
I like that. Add it to my card. Chip, no thoughts? What else do you got going in the afternoon here?
No, I'll take Oak State. I'll take Oak State. I was out on Oak State too. I trashed Mike Gundy. I said he was behind the times. The game was passed him by. I did the whole transfer portal thing too. So I'm back on Oak State. I'll take Oak State with Greg.
Good to ride. It's good to ride with the
Yeah.
boys again.
I like that. I'm taking Oak State
Yeah.
for Greg. Ride for Greg.
Yes.
But 3:30, it might not be the game we thought it was going to be. Tennessee, Bama. Probably not going to be the game it was last year, but
Great colors though.
yeah, still going to be a fun game to watch. Not going to have the implications it did, but I'm going with Tennessee +9. Again, Texas A&M shat the bed as they have done the entire Jimbo Fisher era last week when they played Tennessee. But I was impressed. I'm surprised, but I was kind of impressed by Tennessee's defense. I think their defense is probably the best it's been since Josh Heupel was the coach.
Very good defense.
Yeah, that's not usually his trademark as a coach. And they're going to need that against Bama. And Bama's had trouble scoring against everyone they've played. So if Tennessee can get anything going on offense, I think they have a chance to win this game. I'm not going to take Tennessee money line probably, but I think they can keep it close. Joe Milton, man, he is not good. Sorry, he did not look good in that A&M game either. And I'm sorry, they still won in spite of him. They have a good running game. They do. But yeah, Tennessee's defense is good. It stood out to me. The total might be the right play. The under might be the right play, but I'm going with Tennessee for now and maybe leaning the under at some point.
I like that. I'm staying away from that just because I can't do the Joe Milton experience again. If I were going to do anything, it would be the under because I feel like again Mill Road just has the long ball or he can run it for 10 yards once every 4 or 5 drives. Other than that, the Alabama offense, like you said, hasn't been able to pull away from anyone. So the 10 points scares me. I just can't do Joe Milton again. It's been too much. It's too much to do.
It covered last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just such a process. It's so tough to watch. It's just you just don't know where the ball's going. You don't know if it's going in the dirt, or if it's hitting the guy in the hands, or if it's going 10 yards over the play.
Yeah,
and I can't do
I'm
that.
I'm going to be watching anyway, so I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, fair.
I haven't done it much this year. The Joe Milton thing. I've stayed away from betting Tennessee as much as possible. So,
all right, and a game that's going to be on during that time, and I'm going to be flipping to. But just statistically, so I'm taking under 32.5 for Iowa. Their leading receiver, which happens to be their tight end, is out for the year. So that's it. I'm taking the Iowa under, and I'm moving on there.
32.5.
There's a lot of I know it's so small. There's a lot of afternoon games I'm excited to see. Like I hope Oregon wins. I hope Nebraska wins. All right, like I hope Tulane wins. But I'm not taking their spread. Hope Texas wins. Spreads are just too crazy for me.
Oh, I like Oregon a lot. It's my second best bet of the day.
Okay, talk to me. I mean, that's my team. I'm trying to get them back in the playoff. So you talk to me.
I don't know. I mean, I'll talk to you. I don't know if I could have been more wrong about a team than I was about Washington State last week going against Arizona. John, you tried to save me. You tried to warn me. Chip warned and saved me 2 weeks ago against the Maryland and Ohio State. Maryland outright loser as a 14-point favorite last week. You try to save me at Wazoo against Arizona. I mean, Arizona kicked. When you talk about a team getting their teeth kicked in, it was Washington State, Arizona. Like Arizona should not.
That was shocking, though, dude.
Dude, it was crazy. It was crazy to watch. So I'm off Wazoo. I'm off Washington State. I'm riding the Bo Nix train -20. This is going to be easy. I think they win this game. I mean, if Arizona could beat you 44-6 or whatever it was last week, Oregon should be able to beat you 100-0. So let's go, Oregon. Again, maybe that's a little bit slight to Arizona. Maybe Arizona is just a decent football team. And I didn't see it coming. I'm not giving them enough credit because they've hung in some games. When they're late night, I've been betting them here and there. And they're getting these monster spreads. So, I mean, why I switched it up last week, I really believed in Washington State. I don't this week. So I'm on to Oregon. The other team I'm going with, John, is Tulane, the Green Wave here.
So many points.
It's a lot of points. It's 20.5, whatever it is. North Texas is just not very good.
I know.
I mean, they lost to Navy.
They did good last week.
They lost to FIU earlier in the season, who was an underdog to Sam Houston this week.
Oh. Who did play last week?
Temple.
Yeah, they killed them, right? They crushed them.
Killed Temple.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Tulane's 5-1 in the conference. They're going to absolutely kill North Texas here. So, yeah, big spreads in the afternoon for me with Oregon and Tulane.
I'm not touching them. I'm scared.
To wrap it up, though, because I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, UNC -23.5. Another big spread game. I think they're the real deal.
Much.
I think they can contend with Florida State for this ACC championship. And we'll do a little conference talk at the end here later because we're trying to get a path for Notre Dame into the championship, John. That we're talking
and Oregon
for a while. And Oregon. We're trying to map it out a little bit here as we're kind of in the halfway point of the college football season. So we're kind of making some passes, making some moves. I think UNC is going to be right in the conversation with Florida State. I believe they play in a couple weeks. I don't think it's next week. But -23 against Virginia. I just don't think Virginia is very good. I think UNC is very good, and they've been rolling. Won easily against Miami last week by 10. Absolutely crushed Syracuse the week before in Pitt. Now you got a Virginia team at home. You have no one really on the schedule until Duke. So later in the season, and they actually don't play Florida State.
I was about to say they don't play each other, and actually Florida State plays Duke this week.
Yep.
Yeah, so They're going to play each other in the conference championship, which we'll talk about. They're both undefeated.
Sure.
That means that one of them has to go to the to the Final Four. So
One of them has to, and the other one with one loss. Florida State with one loss, they might. We'll talk about it.
So, Chip, are you touching anything that UNC game or any of those games that Greg just mentioned? Or are they too many points?
Too many points, I think.
Yeah,
in that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, what else? You got anything going in the afternoon though that you like, or what else you got going here?
I'm
into
I'm like
into
the 3:30. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
3:30,
All right,
4 o'clock.
3:30 that I absolutely love. Like, I'm gonna take Toledo, I think, against Miami of Ohio. Toledo's on the road, -1.5. I was looking at like Pitt against Wake.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna take that. So, but at night, I do love Ole Miss because they're coming off a bye, right?
Yep.
So Ole Miss off a bye against Auburn. I know it's on the road, but -6.5. I think Auburn is terrible. I'm not sure why it's only 6.5, but that's what it is right now while we're recording on Tuesday. I think it should get bigger than that. Auburn's bad. I think Ole Miss should score a lot of points and just crush them. The total's only 55.5. That's probably because Auburn's offense isn't very good. But yeah, I like Ole Miss -6.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ole Miss -6.5 is my third and final best bet. A little transitive property bet. I forget what bet I did last week like that, but it worked out great. I think it was the LSU over. So I'm going to use LSU again. Ole Miss beat LSU 2 weeks ago, or I guess 3 weeks ago, so they're on a bye. 55-49, all-time game, zero defense. Absolutely awesome to watch in the afternoon. And then LSU last week turned around and smacked Auburn 48-14. So if a team that beat LSU is playing a team that lost by 30 to LSU and the spread's only 6.5, I'm taking the team that beat LSU every time as a best bet. So give me Ole Miss, the Rebels.
Okay.
6.5.
I like that. I like that math. I'll take that math.
If it works, it works. It worked last week. Let's see if it works again.
All right. By that same transitive property, I'm taking Clemson -3.5 over Miami for one of my best bets. Do the math. Miami sucks. Do the other math. Clemson's been okay. All right.
I like that.
That's how I'm doing it. Miami has not come back. Everyone was, in fact, right. Miami stinks. I'm going with Clemson. Clemson's not bad. Clemson is trying to get a New Year's Eve bowl. I know they have 2 losses. They're trying to make a name for themselves. They're not going to lose a game for the rest of the season. -3.5 is easy. I'm taking Clemson -3.5.
I've been burned by Clemson too much. Otherwise, I'd jump right on there with you, John. Because I think 3.5 is just way too low.
I think they both stink. I'll go with the under there.
All right. My second, that was my second best bet, Clemson. My third and final best bet. This is an easy one. This is a gimme. People watched Caleb Williams lose last week. They're like, oh, wow, what a fluke. This is the week to come back. No, it's not.
This is the guy everyone's talking about.
No, this is not the week for USC to come back. This is the week for USC to run into another brick wall. Like, they're playing Utah. Like, this is horrible for them. Like, they have no defense. So Utah's going to be able to move the ball. And their offense is going to get stifled by Utah's D. +6.5 is crazy. I like the money line. I like Utah.
You think they're going to lose to Utah, huh?
Yes, dude. Yes. Has anyone else been watching the games? I don't understand. Like,
what's impossible to watch, John? They're impossible for the layman to watch.
Utah, very good. USC, not very good. Like, I don't really get it. So I'm taking Utah money line +6.5. Third and final best bet.
I like that. I actually add that to my card. Utah, add it to my card. -6 or +6.5, sure.
Okay.
System play worked for me last week. System play was an easy one. UNLV undefeated against the spread against a team that's hasn't covered all season. Right. That was an easy one. That was a set it and forget it game. I got UNLV again. Has not
They got Colorado State, right?
They've covered every single spread this week or this year. Yes, they have Colorado State, who everyone is cracked up and hyped about, so excited about. I think UNLV -8. I think they win this game easy.
7.5 on FanDuel.
Colorado State 8.5. Sure, I'll take it.
No,
I'll
7.5 on FanDuel.
Oh, 7.5, 8.5.
8 on
whatever you want to
DraftKings.
do. As long as it's under 10, I like it. Colorado State, I just can't get a read on. I mean, they won a great game against Boise last week, but then 2 weeks before that, they lost to Utah State.
Does that count as a win?
Technically.
They have a Hail Mary. Like it's not like they you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wasn't, and Boise's not very good. Had them in a couple of futures. They're terrible this season. So, I don't believe in Colorado State. I believe in UNLV. And then finally here, Michigan -24.5 against Michigan State. I think that's just big brother, little brother. One team's good, one team's not.
I'm on that
they're
too.
gonna win by 40. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm on.
I hope they run it up.
I'm on Georgia State +3.5 versus the Raging Cajuns. That's my last game.
Oh. Chip? Not touching Duke? Florida State?
I was just going to ask did you mention Duke Florida State before, Greg? I thought you did. No?
I'm trying my best to think about it. I want to hear some opinions on that.
To wait for Riley Leonard news? Because it's 13.5 with no Riley Leonard news.
So do you lock it in now?
I think he's going to play.
I think he's going to definitely try really hard to play. I think they rested him last week because NC State stinks and they plan on him playing. But locking it in now, like how much is the spread going to move if they announce he's playing? I feel like it's still going to be a double-digit spread whether he plays or not, right?
Yeah, it's going to be 2 or 3 points.
Yeah. So it might just be smart to take it now.
Yeah, if you can get it at 14.5. But to me, I don't know. I was wondering more about the over-under. I see it at 49.
I mean, I'm taking Duke.
Okay.
I'm betting Duke. Yeah.
It's a good bet. I just don't want it, but it's a good bet.
I'm going to take Duke. So I'll take Duke. It's 13.5 on FanDuel now. So I'm going to take Duke 13.5. Mm-hmm. I know Florida State just demolished Syracuse at home. But
it's okay.
It's
a good bet.
We don't have to talk about Cuse because it's a bye, thank God, for that. They're an embarrassment. That coach, they need to just bring in an entirely new coaching staff. It's an embarrassment. How good they looked those first few weeks and just falling apart like that. It's a shame. Like they're just so unprepared. Like just right from the start, man. Like that flaw. I know so much more talent on the other sideline, but come on. Just not to be so unprepared like that.
Yeah.
Just the first possession.
Yeah. You can't be losing by 30 and 40 to people.
Oh God. Seriously. You're an ACC team. Like you look like an FCS team out there. It was embarrassing.
It's tough. Last game for me, I'm banking on a little bit of a letdown from Washington after a big win against Oregon last week at home. I might be turning into an Arizona State fan. I was up 2 weeks ago, John, with you watching that game till like 1:32 in the morning. We were texting about it. 26.5 points to 28 points, depending on the sports book right now, is a lot of points for this Arizona State team. I think Arizona State can play. Definitely don't think they're going to win the game outright, but I think they can hang around 4 touchdowns. Like I think their offense is a little bit better than what people realize. I think their defense is okay. They hung around with Colorado. They hung around with Cal 2 weeks before that. They hung around with the USC spread. They were battling with that USC spread 3 weeks ago. So they've been in games, man. I mean, we'll see. Might be a little bit of a letdown spot for them after that game with Colorado, though, too. So I'm a little worried about it.
That worries me. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's on my card now. We'll see how it goes. Follow us, Winning P Weekly on Twitter, Chip Murphy 7, Nick Jets, etc. Jay Meleka. We're all on there. We'll be tweeting our stuff out. But for right now, it's on there. Maybe if I'm having a terrible, terrible day, I'll stay away because I don't need to lose more money on Arizona State. But If I got a little house money by the end of the night, I'll be betting that 4 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns. It's tough to not take the points.
All right. And that's the best for the week. Let's just have a quick discussion here on the college football playoff if you want to bet those futures. But it's mostly we had a question on a little discussion on trying to get teams in here. With the news of Georgia, the tight end being hurt and out for the year, is it possible? Let me start off here. Is it possible that Georgia does not finish undefeated, including the SEC championship game?
It's absolutely possible.
So their schedule is Gators not possible to lose, Missouri not really possible to lose, Mississippi, Ole Miss not really possible to lose.
Is Missouri at home?
Yeah, it's in Georgia.
In Georgia, and Ole
The
Miss
Gators is in Florida. It's in the swamp.
Oh, Gators have looked good. They're not going to lose to Florida, but I'm going to bet
Georgia
on
was
Florida
really bad.
in that game.
Then they have Ole Miss
Ole
in
Miss.
Georgia. Then they're in versus Tennessee. In Tennessee.
At Tennessee?
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean
so-
they have a little bit of interesting schedule. They're on a bye week this week, right?
Yeah.
So
let's say that Georgia officially loses a game. We don't have to pick which game.
in the regular
Let's say they
season.
lose a game. So now they're no longer undefeated. Now that they lost their tight end. Let's say Michigan goes undefeated. Let's say them, and then if Penn State and Ohio State both have 1 loss, that's impossible. Ohio State would have to have 2 losses. Penn State 1 loss. Michigan undefeated. Okay, so we have Michigan undefeated.
Yep.
We have nobody undefeated in SEC. We have either UNC or Florida State undefeated. Who do you want to call it? Who do you want to call?
that. Florida
Give me
State.
one chip. Okay, Florida State.
State.
Okay, so then we have let's say Texas beats Oklahoma in the championship to make things even more complicated. Right. So that's it. Right. So now there's only 2 undefeated teams they're in, and everybody else has at least 1 loss. Right. Am I missing anyone?
Washington, Pac-12.
Washington doesn't lose a game, or you want Washington to lose one? What do you want there?
This is why the playoff needs to get bigger.
I agree. This is the best year for argument.
Let's say Washington doesn't lose, so we have 3 teams. We only have 1 spot left open. Because if we say Washington has 1 spot or 1 loss, then opens up a whole can of worms of does the Pac-12 not make it again?
Okay.
Even though they have 5 ranked teams, 6 ranked teams,
their
It'd be
schedule is good.
insane if the Pac-12 didn't get a team this year.
Yeah, their schedule is good. It's just USC and Utah happens to be at home. All right, no problem.
Okay. So
we'll take Washington to win all the way through. Okay, so that means that's the 3. We got Michigan, we got Florida State, and we got Washington.
Yep.
So
in the playoff, right? Because they're all undefeated. You have to put them in, right?
One team from the SEC.
Is it? Where does that last team come from? That's the question.
Georgia.
1 loss Georgia.
When they
1
win
loss
the
Georgia
SEC,
over
1 loss who?
No, Greg. In this scenario, Washington has to lose to Oregon in the championship. So Washington has to lose to Oregon in the championship to make things super complicated, and Georgia has to lose in the championship to make things super complicated. Lose a game, lose in the championship, lose to Tennessee and lose in the SEC championship. So now
they'll have 2 losses.
So everybody's in the same mix except for Florida State and
Michigan.
They're just in their own class because their conference stinks.
Yeah,
and everybody's in a mix. Where it's Washington, Oregon, Georgia at the top of the class, right? Who else is really there? Texas has a case.
Oklahoma, Ohio State.
I was just gonna say Oklahoma. The team.
So who do you got, Chip? All to say, who do you got here? What do you think is going to happen here in this mess? Try to talk it out a little bit. Of course, Notre Dame's going to be raising their hand in the back somewhere.
They've lost 2 games.
Yeah, what about us, bro?
I mean, there's going to be an SEC team in it, and it's going to be Georgia.
What if they lose, dude? Their tight end is out.
You're saying if they lose one game, though.
They lose one game and then they lose in the SEC championship.
So you're okay. So if they have 2 losses, are they still going to get in?
Yeah.
I would say no, because whoever beats them probably has 1 loss. So whoever wins the SEC championship, we could say that to make it simpler. Like whoever wins the SEC championship is going to get in.
Is it a guarantee? That's my question.
If it's Alabama, yes. If it's LSU, already has
Alabama,
2
yes.
losses. I don't know. Like a 1-loss Ole Miss, does that get in above a 1-loss Ohio State? Like I don't know.
Well, Ole Miss wouldn't be. Ole Miss would have to beat Georgia to get to the SEC championship game.
Yeah. So okay, all to say.
But like LSU has 2 losses. If LSU beats Georgia in the SEC championship game, do they
get in? Exactly.
I think they probably do, to be honest.
Okay.
I think they probably would. I think they probably would.
All right, how do we get Oregon in? How do we get Oregon in?
Look at the media narrative is already shifting towards Daniels from LSU as a Heisman candidate now. They're already building up the LSU playoff hype.
All right, so how do we get Oregon in?
I'm not sure about that. They just
everyone needs 2 losses. Washington needs 2 losses. USC needs 2 losses.
You need to root against Washington now. You need to root against everybody else now.
So you could do up to a 4-team parlay in FanDuel for the college football playoff. So if you take Michigan and Florida State together by itself, that's plus 200.
I like that.
If you throw in Oklahoma, let's say they beat Texas twice, right? Because they're going to beat them again in the championship. And Washington, so you like Washington runs the table, that's plus 1,400.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to see where's Washington's plus 115.
Yeah, it's not bad, man.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So Michigan, Florida State, Washington, Oklahoma. Plus
yeah,
1,400.
$100 to win $1,400.
Swap out Michigan for Penn State. You're looking at plus 3,300. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, swap out
for all the Penn State believers.
Swap out Oklahoma for Texas. Get that up to plus 2,000.
Yeah, there's a reason for that though. Because
why they're going to play each other again? It's not that different. It's
you really think Texas is going to beat Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think it's hard to beat. I think it's hard to beat a football team twice in 1 year.
It is, but man, Oklahoma really looked like they had their number, dude.
I know, but I just think it's hard to beat the same team twice within 2 months. It's just hard.
Yeah, I mean the rest of Texas' schedule is very straightforward.
Oklahoma's schedule is not hard either, though.
Yeah. They're going to see each other in the chip. That's what I'm just saying.
For sure, it's going to be a rematch.
Texas Tech last game of the season.
Texas has done that. They've blown that before.
Oh, I lost my voice against Texas State last season. I was screaming so much.
So I'm worried about a weird game like that for Washington versus Washington State. I know Washington State stinks. I know Washington's amazing, but that's the last game of the season. Sure. Washington's gonna be looking at like appendix Heisman, like playoff, and Pac-12 chip, and just 1 loss, everything just falls through.
Crushes, yeah, definitely could happen.
All right, so what if I take the miracle? What if I take Michigan? Oh, by the way, if you think UNC is gonna beat Florida State, which is not that crazy because they're gonna play each other in the championship, it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
You just swap those two, then that becomes plus 8,000. Just throwing that out there. But in my miracle world, if I take out Washington and throw in Oregon, which I don't even know how it's going to happen, it's also plus 6,000. So we'll see.
Also, I kind of like Florida State is minus 130. UNC is plus 600.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, am I missing something where they both have to play Duke? So I get that can be tough, but there's no divisions in the ACC, right? It's just the best 2 teams in the ACC are going to play each other for the
they're going to play each other.
So yeah,
yeah, I agree. Okay. I agree with you.
I like plus. I mean, does an undefeated UNC not get in because they're just not a big enough program?
No, undefeated UNC gets in.
Yeah, they do.
That's what I'm saying.
UNC is plus 600 to make The college football playoff, they're plus 600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it the same odds as Oregon? That makes no sense.
I don't know. That's why I was trying to figure out the divisions. Like, is there something? But no, I think ACC is
No.
just they just play each other.
All right.
I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. I wonder if a no loss, if a win, if a UNC that doesn't lose all season, do they get bounced for a 1-loss Ohio State,
No.
a 1-loss Georgia, a
No.
1-loss LSU?
No.
These are
Two
big
losses.
time football programs. A 1-loss USC, Caleb Williams has a chance at redemption.
USC is about to get 2 L's. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, or a 1-loss Bo Nix, Oregon,
And
a 1-loss
he plays Washington.
State.
And USC plays Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I feel like those big time college programs will get a little, as we've seen in the past, those 1-loss big time programs get a little preferential treatment over the undefeated smaller schools. I get that they're an ACC team versus Power 5 team or a non-Power 5 team, but still, people have been screwed before. So it's interesting. Now that we're halfway through the season, I'm happy that we kind of talked futures a little bit and kind of recapped and looked at some things because I really do. I don't mind Oregon plus 600. I like UNC plus 600. These Pac-12 teams still need to play each other and are going to beat each other up. And Oregon was in that game every bit as Washington was. They were toe to toe the whole way. So I like it.
All right. That wraps it up for me. Anything else, guys?
Now let's have another good week.
All right. Big college football week. I feel like it's Thanksgiving for the next month. I love this time of the year.
Yeah.
Tune in for the NBA preview, which will be coming out shortly. We'll have the NFL full slate. Jets bye week. What a good week, man. What a good week. Hit us up. Let us know what you guys got. Next come Jets come with ETC period. And that's it. We out.